Watch out for this in spiritual circles or spiritual communities. There is something I've realized in participating in various spiritual communities or spiritual circles, something that is stated or said quite a lot or bandied about. And personally, I think it should come with a warning label. I also wanted to share my own reasons for why I feel this to be true or feel this to be the case. So I'm not going to drag it out for too much longer. My name is Karina. Welcome to my channel, Twin Flame Guide. So the thing I wanted to talk about is the particular line. It's sometimes said in a few different ways, but the two ways I've come across the most frequently is, the first one is, well, I just triggered your healing, or the second one is, I'm just mirroring you, or I'm just reflecting something back to you for your own healing. And the reason I think this particular thing that people say we should be very cautious about, or that there should be a warning sign around this, is because I've also seen it used in a way that isn't actually very loving or isn't very effective. And I don't think it's something that we should just jump to as a way to excuse ourselves from a situation. Now, I do think we in spiritual circles and spiritual communities are still obviously learning. And I think sometimes one of the challenges is understanding that while there is a spiritual perspective on things, we're still, in a human sense, also having a human experience. And personally, I found that some of the things that are said in spiritual circles, while you might say, well, that's true in a spiritual sense, I think it needs to also make sense in a human experience kind of way, in that it should not be lacking in kindness or humanity. That's my personal take on this. Some people might disagree with me, and I'm not here to guilt trip anyone. I'm not here to call any one person out or any one community or style of communicating even. But I do think that the reason that I'm sharing this is because if you feel that something is coming up for you, something is being triggered, and there is something, a cause for concern in a relationship, a very effective way to actually resolve it is to bring it up with a person. And I think it can be very jarring for somebody. I've experienced this too, and I'm not trying to say I'm projecting my stuff onto them or I'm trying to blame them. If you are opening up and being vulnerable and sharing your experience, and you're being met with, well, I just triggered your healing, you should be grateful for that, or that's just something within you to heal, and I'm just reflecting you back to you, I'm just mirroring you back to you. All that does is it just actually closes. It doesn't create more understanding, it doesn't create more room for intimacy. All that does is it actually pushes back the fact that somebody's had the courage to open up and share. Now, of course, some people do project. I've also been in this space from time to time. And so if somebody's setting a clear boundary and saying, hey, I actually feel like you're projecting this onto me, there might be something for you to look at here. That's a very different energy. And maybe it even comes across as a bit firmer than I've stated here. But the reason I'm calling this out is because I do see how I just triggered your healing, or I'm just mirroring you back to you, can actually be used as a way to excuse bad behavior, or kind of just make something okay when you've clearly stated, hey, this is not okay. And in a mature adult relationship where you're sharing yourself and there are going to be moments of conflict, it's very important how you meet somebody when they choose to open up and share that vulnerable truth about what it is that they're going through. Now, I'm not talking about you are responsible for that person's feelings. That is, in fact, what spirituality teaches us. We are each responsible for our own feelings and our own healing. But I do think we can learn a more nuanced way, a kinder way, a way that doesn't take us away from our humanity, because I don't think that's actually a balanced spiritual way. Another way to look at it, another way that I like to not trivialize it, but like to remind myself not to take it too seriously and to have a more detached look at it, is if somebody is trying to sort of take credit for the fact that they've triggered you and they're hiding behind that, like, oh, I triggered your healing. You know, when you go to the gym, the treadmill doesn't take credit for the fact that you got on the treadmill and got fit. Yeah, you can appreciate the treadmill for being there as a piece of equipment, and I'm not saying look at people as tools, not what I'm saying. But when somebody tries to take credit for the fact that they triggered you, I would say there's something a little bit off about that. And so that's why I use this gym equipment example for that. I do think it can be a beautiful thing. And this is each of our own decision to choose to make. to choose to look at the experiences, even the difficult ones, even the ones that triggered some deep emotions, and to choose to have the perspective of wanting to learn and grow from the experience. Wanting, maybe even in some cases, you might say, to heal from the experience. I think having that perspective can be incredibly empowering, and it can also help you to move forward from what has happened. It can help you also to fully process what has happened and to bring a deeper understanding to the purpose of that experience. So it's perfectly okay to have that perspective and to see that others can actually open us up to having a deeper awareness and understanding of ourselves and also others. I think we should be cautious about saying things like, well, I just triggered your healing, as a way to shirk responsibility for taking ownership if there was some wrongdoing on anyone's part. And also to see or to ask yourself, well, what was my intention here? And also, what was the intention of the other person? Were they coming from love? Was this done unintentionally or intentionally? I'm not saying if something wrong has been done unintentionally that means, oh well, the person's off the hook. But personally, I do think intentions matter as well as the behavior. But alright, that concludes today's video. If you do have more questions or any other questions, you are invited to drop it in the comment section of today's video. Thank you so much for joining me. If you would like more resources and support, you can also check out the links in the description of this video. Take care on your journey. Hope to see you in the next one. Bye.